It's been a long while as a Steeler fan. We haven't won a playoff game since 2016. It's been 8 seasons. 2025 will mark the 9th season since this game. What's up, everyone? It's Riverside. It's time to revisit the Steelers' last playoff win. Let's first look back at what 2016 was. There were so many moments to look back on. Antonio Brown twerking in the end zone, Sammy Coates' legacy game against the Jets, Landry Jones versus Tom Brady, Chris Boswell's onside kick failure. You go to the midway point in this season. The Steelers were 4-5 after a loss to the Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott scoring a last-minute touchdown after Antonio Brown's fake spike touchdown wasn't enough. 4 wins, 5 losses. The Steelers then rattled off 7 straight wins to end the regular season, including games like the Immaculate Extension, which won the Steelers the division, and then the following week an overtime game winner from Kobe Hamilton against the Cleveland Browns. The 11-5 record gave the Steelers the 3 seed in the AFC, and this was back when the top 2 seeds got a first-round bye instead of just the top 1. So the Steelers, the highest-seeded wildcard team, home field advantage, a 30-12 win over the Miami Dolphins, who were starting backup quarterback Matt Moore, which took the Steelers into Kansas City. Winner goes to Foxborough. The 12-4 Chiefs, the 2 seed, led by quarterback Alex Smith, who was a Pro Bowl that year, versus the Steelers, coming off of a 30-12 win over the Dolphins with the Killer Bees and the worst defensive unit you'll ever see. And it starts off with a Chris Boswell field goal on 4th and 1 at the 1-yard line. This was Boswell's first full season as a Steeler. He played about half of 2015, so Boswell still relatively unknown at this time, although on this night he would make a name for himself. After the Boswell field goal, the Chiefs would respond with a go-ahead touchdown. It was Alex Smith to Albert Wilson, 7-3 Chiefs. The very next drive, Chris Boswell from 38 yards out lowers the deficit to 1. Kansas City leads 7-6. And there were points scored on the first 3 drives in this game. Each drive had a scoring play. It looked like this game had potential to be a score fest. But after a Chiefs punt, the Steelers ended up in the red zone, and for the 3rd time on the day, Chris Boswell would kick a field goal, this time giving the Steelers the lead back at 9-7. Ryan Shazier then had an interception. The Steelers couldn't do anything with it, though. They punted. So the Chiefs punted as well. Teams exchanged punts. And with 1 minute left in the first half, Chris Boswell makes another field goal. 12-7 Steelers, that would be your halftime score. And coming out of the locker room, the Chiefs get the ball, the Steelers get a stop, which they use to go down and kick their 5th field goal of the day to make it 15-7. All Chris Boswell, baby, all Chris Boswell. Then after both teams went 3 and out, Kansas City would add a field goal of their own from Cairo Santos to make it 15-10. And of course, the Steelers would then respond by kicking a field goal of their own to make it 18-10 with less than 10 minutes left in the game. A 7-minute drive for Kansas City is what ensued, in which they converted 2 4th downs. Spencer Ware scored the touchdown to make it 18-16, and with 2 minutes 43 seconds left in the game, the Chiefs had to go for 2 to tie the game. And Alex Smith would look for wide receiver Jeremy Maclin on the play, but the pass fell incomplete, and the Steelers got the ball back up by 2. The Chiefs had 1 timeout left. 3rd and 3, coming out of the 2-minute warning, Ben Roethlisberger finds Antonio Brown for 7 yards, and that was the game. Kneel down, kneel down, kneel down. Final score, Steelers 18, Chiefs 16. Ben Roethlisberger finished with 224 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Le'Veon Bell ran for 170 yards on the ground. Antonio Brown 6 receptions for 108 yards. And Chris Boswell 6 for 6 on field goals, an NFL playoff record. He did this twice in the 2024 regular season, by the way. On to Foxborough. The Steelers would lose 36-17 to the eventual Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. And that was the last Steelers playoff win. You think about since then, the loss to Jacksonville, not even qualifying for the playoffs in 2018, missing the playoffs in 2019 as well, 2020's late season collapse, 2021's kerfuffle against the Chiefs, 2022's Kenny Pickett experience, 2023 Mason Rudolph starting a playoff game that TJ Watt was hurt for, and then last year's catastrophe against the Ravens. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game since. And I don't even have notes in front of me telling that. I just rattled all that off the top of my head because that is how diabolically obsessed with the Steelers that I am. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video where we took a blast in the past, trip down memory lane, if you want to call it that. A look back at the Steelers' last playoff win. Anyways, Riverside out. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.